what remains of you when everything disappears. When your heart stops beating, your eyes close, and your name slowly fades into silence. In 2023, researchers at the University of Michigan recorded something no one expected. As life left the body of a dying person, their brainwaves suddenly lit up. Brighter, clearer, more conscious than ever before. Not silence, not nothing, but a final flash of light. At the same time, people who were revived reported seeing everything, hearing everything. They described conversations in the room, saw themselves from above, and felt held by a warm light. What if that's more than just coincidence? What if your consciousness doesn't die, but transforms? What if you were never your body to begin with? Welcome to ZEITGEIST. This is not a video about death. It's a reminder of what remains when everything else fades away. From 2014 to 2023, the AWARE2 Consortium, NYU Langone, Stony Brook, 18 hospitals worldwide, collected minute-by-minute data from 567 patients whose hearts had stopped for up to 5 minutes. Clinically dead, no measurable brain activity. Yet 160 people, approximately 28%, returned, with vivid memories. They described the hum of the defibrillator, the color of the OR lights, the exact positions of the doctors, all of which were later confirmed by the medical teams. Resuscitation, October 2023. Many survivors described a floating vantage point just below the ceiling. They saw their lifeless face, the wall clock, a nurse rushing in too late. In one case, the lead cardiologist noted a perfectly recalled 5-digit number displayed on a hidden monitor, a number the patient only learned about weeks later. The statistical chance of guessing it, 1 in 100,000. University of Michigan, May 2022. In 4 terminal stroke patients, 40 Hz gamma waves spiked 9-fold exactly as blood pressure and oxygen hit 0. This same frequency appears during REM sleep and peak flow states. Lead researcher Dr. Jim Borjigan called it a final coordinated spark of consciousness. Meanwhile, the Charité team in Berlin, 2021, observed brief bursts of theta waves 4 to 7 Hz during 12 resuscitations, typically linked to deep meditative trance. Duration, 15 to 30 seconds after a flatline EEG. Neurologists described it as a window in which the subject still processes, despite total circulatory shutdown. A patient in Southampton, UK, precisely recounted the sequence of a blue code. He heard the words adrenaline ready and switch U cartridge. His statements matched the official log down to the second, even though his pupils were unresponsive and cortical activity was flat. Control groups showed that neither ketamine nor hypoxia alone could produce such structured, context-rich memories. Placebo subjects under extreme oxygen deprivation described chaotic hallucinations, but not accurate sequences. The AWARE2 researchers concluded, the data suggests the persistence of consciousness beyond current neurobiological models. Consciousness can remain measurably active even when cortex, brainstem, and heart are offline. What does that mean for our self-image? More neuroscientists, e.g. Anil Seth, 2024, are now seriously considering the brain as a receiver rather than the source of the mind. Death then would not be a final blackout, but a channel switch, a return of the borrowed body to chemistry while the signal keeps going. What if your body dies, but your information remains? In 2021, researchers at MIT published an experiment that could revolutionize our understanding of the brain. They discovered that biophotons, faint pulses of light emitted by neurons, remain quantum entangled even after the cell has died. These light pulses carry information, and in the lab this information remained coherent, meaning organized, structured, even after cellular death. What does that mean? The core of your identity, your informational essence, is not tied to living matter. Even more groundbreaking, a 2024 study from the Weizmann Institute in Israel used complex entropy models to demonstrate that information does not simply vanish. It fluctuates, disperses into space. Mathematically, it proves energy fades, but information persists. The human being as an energetic data archive? This idea is no longer science fiction. It is becoming part of a new quantum logic. These insights lead directly to the theory of Dr. Robert Lanza, who proposed a radical shift through his model of biocentrism. It's not the universe that creates life. Life creates the universe. You are not a product of the world. You are its origin. A conscious observer whose focus brings reality into being. Observation collapses waves into particles. Without you, no universe. So what remains when your body dies, when your brain stops broadcasting? Perhaps your consciousness as structured information eternally stored in the network of quantum reality, not erased, only relocated. One of the most comprehensive scientific evaluations of near-death experiences, NDEs, was published in the renowned medical journal The Lancet. Van Lommel et al., 2019. The meta-analysis examined over 1,060 documented cases from different countries and cultural backgrounds. The result, in more than 85% of the reports, the same core elements appeared, regardless of whether the person was religious or not. Common themes include the sensation of traveling through a tunnel or transition space, a radiant light perceived as unconditionally loving, a life review, not judged, but filled with deep empathy, a profound sense of freedom from body, fear, and pain, a kind of choice or mission that leads them to return. The case of Matthew, USA WBTV 2017, a 2-year-old boy nearly drowned in a pool. His heart had stopped, yet he survived. Weeks later, he told his mother, "The light man held me. He said, 'You still need me.'" Another example is the case of Colton Burpo from the book Heaven is for Real, 2003. At age 4, after an emergency surgery, he described meeting Jesus and his sister, the one who was never born. Across the world, we find remarkably similar concepts of the afterlife, formed independently in vastly different times and cultures. The Tibetan Bardo describes intermediate realms where consciousness lingers between lives. The Egyptian Duat speaks of soul trials where the heart is weighed, often in the presence of beings of light. In Christianity, the soul encounters departed loved ones, angels, and divine light. Despite the symbolic differences, these visions share common ground: an ego dissolution, an encounter with a higher consciousness, a feeling of belonging, and often, a realization that there is still a purpose to fulfill, a reason to return. Those who survive near-death experiences don't just describe peace or mystical light. Many undergo a radical transformation. They develop profound compassion and lose their fear of death. They feel deeply connected to all living beings. Many shift toward spiritual, social, or healing professions. This transformation has been documented in countless cases, independent of prior belief systems. Science is now confronted with a phenomenon that cannot be fully explained through pathology or religion alone. Rather, the data suggest these are real experiences, taking place on an expanded level of consciousness, beyond the boundaries of the physical body. For a long time, the brain was seen as the sole center of conscious perception. But research from the renowned HeartMath Institute reveals something revolutionary. The human heart generates its own electromagnetic field, measurable up to 3 meters beyond the body, and this field responds directly to emotions and thoughts. In their 2023 study, researchers observed that individuals in a state of heart coherence, inner emotional balance, emit coherent frequency patterns that can influence the nervous systems of others. In quantum terms, the heart functions as a biological interface, a kind of rhythm-setting device for the surrounding information field. Your emotional state doesn't just affect you, it radiates and it shapes your environment. A groundbreaking paper from Oxford University, published in 2022, was titled Ethics in a Many Worlds Framework. It explores a mind-bending idea. What if every decision you make branches off into a new reality, just as Hugh Everett's many worlds theory suggests? If infinite parallel versions of your life exist, then every thought, every action, Every intention becomes a pivotal point, a doorway into a new version of your existence. This doesn't just add depth to your life, it adds responsibility. Because according to this view, you are not just living your life, you are navigating the multiverse of your possibilities. The implications are radical. If you are immortal, if your consciousness continues after death, if reality collapses into form only through your focused awareness, then every thought matters. Meditation becomes more than relaxation. It's targeted reality design. Intuition is not random. It's real-time navigation toward your highest path. Forgiveness, compassion, and clarity are not just virtues. They are quantum pulses shaping your next timeline. These discoveries shift everything. You are not a passive observer. You are the conscious creator of your future, not someday, right now. If your thoughts shape reality, then death is not the end. It's just a doorway into the next branch of the infinite path that you are choosing in this very moment. Do you truly believe everything ends when the body dies? Or have you, somewhere deep inside, always known that something remains? That consciousness lives on, that you are more than flesh, thoughts, and memories. What if this video didn't merely give you information, but reminded you of something you've always known? If you've felt up to this point that there is more, share this video with someone who needs to hear it right now. Maybe it's a sign. Maybe you are the sign. Now tell us, what have you experienced? Have you ever felt something you couldn't explain? Do you believe in life after death? Write it in the comments. Your story might become the next Zeitgeist video. Subscribe to Zeitgeist if you want more than just facts. If you feel it's time to remember, spirit to spirit, your Zeitgeist.